First of all, in this session, we're gonna just cover some of the key points around mindset and supporting that to help our fitness and the success of our goals in fitness. So, um, obviously, the importance of a positive mindset transcends way beyond your fitness goals, but my God, is it so important and such a game changer to have that positive mindset for your fitness goals as well. It makes your life so much easier when you speak kindly to yourself and you have that positive outlook on life. It makes waking up in the morning easier. It makes going to the gym easier. You naturally have more motivation for life. So let's get into it. So just a few quick reasons why it's so important. First of all, determines your approach to challenges and setbacks. So when things actually get hard, um, it's really easy, obviously, to just give up. And that's when most people do give up, especially on their fitness journey. When something happens, and it doesn't need to be something to do with their fitness. Like they might be actually doing really well, they might be getting results with their fitness journey, but something in their life in general has knocked their confidence or making them feel down. Something's happened, and then things get hard, and then they give up because they start having a really negative mindset. And then when you have that negative mindset, you just don't have the motivation to do anything else in your life the way you want to. For example, waking up and go to the gym, or eating right, or getting your steps in, and everything becomes mentally that little bit more fatiguing and challenging to kind of just get yourself to action things when you have a negative mindset. um I mean, I know that. Do you struggle at all with this one? Like, is there any days ever where you feel like your actual mindset, do you feel like it actually ever gets in the way of you being able to rock up to a gym session, for example?
Um, I would say, yeah, there's days definitely when I'm just not feeling that great. Yeah. So it's more of a struggle.
Yeah,
Um, I usually, I try to persevere through it. And at least, even if I don't go to the gym, just sort of going for a walk or something a bit more simple.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good you managed to do something, because it's about like taking the small wins sometimes, and like, okay, if something feels too overwhelming on a certain day, like strip it back and do like make it seem easier. If it's just like a nicer way of moving your body. And then usually that's a domino effect, isn't it? Of like, okay, I've got my steps in. Now I want to eat a bit healthier because I've got some endorphins going. So I'm gonna eat a bit healthier now. And then once you've eaten healthier and you've given yourself some good energy, then later on in the day, you might be like, actually, you know what? I'm going to do that gym session. So it's like it all can help. Movement can help bring that positive mindset back as well. And definitely small sort of steps to get to those bigger goals is a great way of making things seem less overwhelming, especially when you're like, maybe just having it like, as we all do, sometimes we do just have days where we struggle mentally for whatever reason. So another reason is it influences our consistency and perseverance. So obviously, what you say to yourself is going to affect how consistent you are with your training. And if you do, like you do, Juan, have that ability to just persevere through, even when you aren't feeling great, because I think something that people struggle with is when they start training or whatever it is, and they look at other people that are like making it in quotation marks, they often assume that they must be motivated every single day to train.
Hmm.
And it's quite rare that every single day people are 100% motivated, but perseverance will always get you through. So an important thing is to always remember, like, don't always rely on motivation alone. So as you do, Juan, sometimes it is just about persevering through that bad mood, and trying not to let the mood dictate your actions. And then the third one is growth vs fixed mindset. Have you ever heard of this one, Juan? Growth vs fixed mindset.
I've heard of growth mindset.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Fixed mindset.
Yeah. So
Um, Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think I've heard of that.
Yeah. So what's your take on like the growth mindset?
Okay, so my take on it is growth mindset. You're looking to grow and improve, and if there's like you, you know it's something that's not perfect,
Yeah.
you'll improve on it as you go.
Yeah.
So it's yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. It's about accepting that we're not always going to be perfect because we're not robots all the time, and we are humans. We're always going to make mistakes. We make mistakes on a daily basis, and the sooner that we allow ourselves like the ability to be imperfect, and instead of beating ourselves up about it, like have the ability to learn something from it and like evolve as a result, and realize that through the struggle that you've been through, or the failure in quotation marks, or whatever it is, a mistake you made, you will actually benefit from it because you'll be wiser and you'll have learned something from it and you'll carry that forwards. So that is one type of mindset, the growth mindset. And lots of people, not only in fitness, but in business and in other aspects of life, that is what we kind of strive to have, that growth mindset where we try not to let imperfections or negative self-talk beat us down, and instead grow from the imperfections we have, the mistakes we have, and make it into a positive self-talk instead. And so there's that self-belief, but then there's the other one, which is fixed. And I think a lot of people are stuck. They don't want fixed mindset, but they're stuck in it. But you can get out of it. But the first step is realizing that some people actually have it, or have days where they have it. So that is when you consciously or subconsciously, often it's subconsciously, you believe that actually you are just who you are and you can't really change. So your traits can't really evolve. So, for example, I hear people say to me all the time, I'm just never going to be a runner. Or I'm just never a morning person. I can't do that. Or I can't track food. It's too mentally draining. And so you're putting that limiting belief on yourself that you just think that's who you are. You've put that label, you put it on your forehead, and that's how you're going to live the rest of your life. But the problem with that is you put yourself into a box that you believe you then can't get out of. And if you believe you can't get out of it, you won't get out of it. Juan, do you ever feel like, is there anything like that springs to mind where you feel like, oh, actually, yeah, maybe I put myself into a box there when I shouldn't have?
um, hmm. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, for sure. Well, I certainly used to have it. I think I've gotten better at it, but like I used to be really, I I didn't really think I could do weight training.
Yeah,
I wasn't that sort of person.
yeah.
I did cardio, but that was it. It's like I'm a cardio person. I'm not a weight stuff. So that's something I've overcome more recently. But then, yeah, I'm sure there are definitely things that I um
Mm-hmm. What about when you like, are you a morning person? Are you a night owl? Anything else?
okay, yeah. Um, I'm probably more of a morning person.
Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah. So it changes. It has. I never used to be. So
Okay. There we
um,
go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Trying to think of something else. There
Do
are,
you,
there are.
sorry, go ahead.
No, I wasn't really going to say anything, but
I was going to say, do you enjoy being a morning person? Do you feel like that benefits your life a little bit more at the
oh
moment?
yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 for sure.
Yeah, because you can,
Yeah,
I feel like that is definitely a limiting belief that a lot of people have, where they think that they just can't get up early, and because of that, they sleep in, or they go to bed too late, they sleep in, and then they can't get their training session done before work or whatever it is, and it messes up their day. And I'm a really big believer in, if you set up your day for success right from the get-go, and
yeah,
you get your hardest tasks out the way from the beginning of the day, you've won the day, you've already seized the day, you have that positive can-do mentality, and then you're way more productive throughout the rest of the day as well. So getting your steps in, for example, eating right, all the rest of it, it's like a knock-on effect. And it's so key to start the day off, especially the start of the day, just positive and productive, and definitely waking up early and owning the day before some people have even got out of bed, for example, by doing a workout or whatever it is, getting some steps in, is such a great, powerful way, I believe. I really believe this, to start the day. Um, yeah, so what did you say the other one was? So you've got a potentially fixed mindset about uh
Um,
what was the first?
weight training,
What did you say?
weight training.
Weight
So
training.
like, yeah, as opposed to like cardio, like I've definitely gotten better at it, but I think it's still there sometimes. There's still
Yeah,
like friction. I still get it when I go and I'm in like especially now that I started doing barbell work,
yeah,
and in my mind, I see that's like the sort of the classic like weight
yeah,
training stuff. It's not just weight machines, it's like with the free weights and all that.
yeah.
I feel like am I in the right place when I got everyone around me?
Yeah,
As opposed to I feel very comfortable in the cardio section
yeah.
of the gym. Yeah.
Okay, that's really interesting. And it's something that so many people relate to, that exact thought process that you have. Um, and so I'm glad we're talking about this, because I feel like you're constantly pushing yourself out your comfort zone. And through this process, like, and I remember when we first had our call together and you're like, oh yeah, I'm not really a weightlifting person. I love cardio. But so, and I remember you saying that. And so it's good that you're like pushing yourself now a little bit more all the time into things that make you feel that little bit more uncomfortable, because you're constantly testing that box and being like, okay, maybe I can be this as well. Because um it can be like limiting for our progress and for our fitness journey and for just having new experiences when we feel like, oh, it's just one certain stereotype that fits into that free weight section. And once you start to um get more comfortable doing things that you don't usually do, like, this is gonna be really powerful. And I always say to people, the more time you spend in a place that you feel uncomfortable with, the more it's going to feel like your home. And so for you, obviously, when you were doing your cardio, like, that was your comfort zone, that felt like your home. And it's one of these things where, by literally just forcing yourself out into a place where you don't feel comfortable, and you do it regularly enough, that will just start to be the norm for you, and you will stop even questioning if you belong in that place or not. And so sometimes, again, like you said, Fan, it's just about perseverance and pushing through until that place also feels like your home, and it will. um yeah, some practical tips. We've kind of gone over these already, so I'll just skim over them. But obviously, it's just speaking to yourself kindly, positively, and with an open mind. Like, if you used to not think that you belonged in that weight area, in the free weight section, and now, like, you're starting to realize you can also belong there as well. So maybe talk to yourself the way that you would see someone else in the gym in the free weights area, because you in your head would never say, oh, they are lifting weights in the free weights area, they don't belong there. So, like, talk to yourself how you would talk to someone else, and then reframe those negative thoughts, or whenever you have and you do make mistakes, reframe them into, okay, this is actually an opportunity for growth. This is great. I'm winning here no matter what, because we are guaranteed to be making mistakes every single day of our lives. So, like, bring on it, because we just learn from it, grow from it, evolve from it. But yeah, so, like, try to catch yourself out if you ever feel like that fixed mindset is bringing you down, because that is going to keep you stuck, and it's going to keep you in the same place that you are. You need to always try to embrace that growth mindset, and with that will come that naturally a more positive mindset as well. And then celebrate small victories to build confidence. So Juan, for you, for example, slowly getting more and more stuck into the weight section of the gym. It's like we're doing it slowly, step by step. First, it was the weights. Now we started to mix in a few dumbbells. Now we're going for barbells. So instead of throwing you straight into the deep end, and think about this for anything that you feel overwhelmed with, whether it's tracking, trying to complete all your running sessions, whatever it is, think about always like, okay, I did X last week. I can do a little bit more this week. I can add on a 5 minute more to my run this week. Small victories to build up your confidence. So if you ever feel overwhelmed, just think about it like that. You're just putting the next building block on to make this like big, structured, strong wall, and achieving your long-term goals. So this brings me nicely over into goals and setting achievable and realistic goals. So obviously I know your goals, Juan, with
Yeah.
your half marathon, but I know that your short-term goals and long-term goals are also to build a stronger body and to for body recomposition, just to feel healthier and fitter and to build a little bit of strength, build a bit, maybe a little bit of muscle. So via the gym sessions that we do anyway. So always thinking about smart goals. So once you've finished your half marathon and it's time to start thinking about our next goals, you've probably heard this. You've heard of SMART goals, haven't you, Han?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's that. So specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And just making sure that, yes, they want us to scare us a little bit. So, for example, something that is achievable, yes, but that we have to work hard for. Because I think a lot of coaches, they'll be like, just pick something that you know you can do. I wouldn't say pick something you know you can do. Pick something that you know is going to challenge you, like that you know you can do if you put the work in to get there. So you want something that scares you just that little bit to keep you on your toes, to give you that sense of urgency, which is why that last point, time bound, is really important as well. Like for your half marathon, you've got that time. So you're like, you know, you need to be, fit enough to be able to do it on that date. So again, it gives you that sense of urgency. That's why I chose my Ironman. It scared me a little bit, keeps me on my toes, and I've got a date for it that I cannot back out of. You've paid the ticket, it's a done deal. You've told everyone you're doing it, you're doing it. These are such important things to never underestimate how much motivation it gives you. And so for you, Anne, even though I know you've got your goals, always be thinking whenever you achieve your goals, what are the next goals? Always make sure in your life you've got goals to work towards. Then short term vs long term. So like we've got quick wins on a daily basis that make us feel good. And then obviously we've got our bigger long term goals like your half marathon. But in terms of quick wins, these are really important as well because these are going to help build our positive mentality as well. Because what little short quick wins on a daily basis do that are maybe a lot easier to get but still make us feel good about ourselves is they build our confidence. And there's a lot of studies to show that once we start believing and ticking off things on a daily basis that build our confidence, we are so much more likely to be able to also tick off goals that we never thought were imaginable, maybe a few months ago. It's all about building that self-belief in us. So in terms of like quick wins, Juan, on a sort of more daily basis, is there like things that you think you could pop into your day to make you feel to build your confidence that you can tick off?
All right, yeah. Do they have would they have to be this can they be the same thing every day? Or do they like improve over time?
Yeah, so they could be the same thing every day, or it could be like, for example, maybe getting your steps in, but the steps might increase every day,
Yeah.
or something that you know that is going to keep you like pushing and making you feel proud of yourself on a weekly, monthly basis.
Well, I think the running distance or distance or time in increasing that each time, each week. I mean, so this week I haven't really done a long run yet, but I'm going to plan to do one probably tomorrow. Um, and I think if I hit 70 minutes, because my
Yeah.
last the longest I've done is about an hour, so it's like increasing it by 10 minutes. Um, that's a quite good one, I think. And then the other one as well, like in the gym, um, certain weight, certain exercise that I'm doing, increasing the weight,
Yeah.
so just even by a few kilograms or something.
Yeah, there we go. So like if you can make these promises to yourself and make it intentional now, every time you walk into that gym, like one of the other clients, Lynn, she was like, ah, Flora, just remind me now and again to actually make me push myself every day when I'm in the gym. Like, because she would walk in and sometimes she'd realize she was becoming a little bit complacent. And sometimes you need to like be intentional and be and sort of bring yourself into the moment and be like, right, what am I trying to get out of this session? Okay, I need to be lifting slightly heavier each time or each week, or slightly more reps, and then tick that off week by week. It's all about being methodical and like over slowly progressing yourself over time. So these daily wins and like maybe even ticking them off, or like
Yeah.
in your notes on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whenever you do your workouts, just put a green tick, and so you consciously reminding yourself, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I'm going to do. This is what's going to make me feel good. And this is what's going to help me get to my long-term goals even faster.
Yeah.
Um, so yes. What do you have any like? I know obviously you're doing your half marathon and all the rest of it, but what about big picture aspirations? So maybe even like a year or 2 years down the line, is there something that like fundamentally is driving you at the moment? Or have you not quite thought past the half marathon mark yet?
I've thought of it. I thought past it. I think like overall, maybe not as far as like a year or 2 years ahead. Um, and it's kind of more maybe abstract in a way. My goals are just to be more in shape, have
Mm-hmm.
more like muscle definition.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah, we can
that,
that's cool. That's pretty specific goal, really. Like
yeah,
that hitting it hard in the gym, and this is why it's really good that you're moving yourself out of your comfort zone in the gym. So you're not going to limit your progress. Um, so once we have ticked off this half mara, then we can really start to knuckle down and focus even more and giving more of your energy on building muscle, building strength, and seeing where that side takes you. So you might surprise yourself and you might start to really fall in love with that side of fitness. And the more you, again, prove to yourself on a daily and weekly basis that you can do these things, and you'll start to realize that this could be your identity as well. You could be that strong person that is totally comfortable picking up any type of equipment in the gym, and that is your place too. And yeah, so again, it's just like taking yourself out of that confined box and seeing what else is out there. It can
yeah,
be really
yeah.
empowering.
Yeah. I think the other one as well would be, after doing a half marathon, I think the next like logical step after that is like a marathon. And
Yes.
that's something I've not definitely in the past. I'm sort of getting there, the idea of doing a marathon, but it's very daunting, the idea of it. But I think that's good if I was to
Exactly.
challenge myself to do it. So
Good.
and it's kind of something that I've always kind of like I wanted to do. It's like been on my bucket list. If
Yeah.
like to do a marathon, like a half marathon is great, and but to say you've done a marathon, I think that would be a good goal as well for me.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that would be amazing, and especially if it makes you feel like a little bit nervous to do,
Yeah, yeah,
then definitely that sounds like a really good goal to do. Something that will keep you on your toes and keep that fire in your belly. And it means you don't get complacent then with your training because you know you have to train for it.
yeah. Well, that's kind of it's happened in the past. I did my first half marathon, like maybe it's 3 years ago now, and
Yeah,
then I sort of did it, and then I just sort of stopped running.
yeah.
I did it
Yeah,
a little bit, but there was no like motivation then to do anything because I'd done it. So it's
yeah,
like,
you've been there, done it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
That's why definitely stacking up your goals and always looking long term in the future and thinking, what do you want to get out of life? Like, where do you want your body to carry you forwards next? Because like momentum is key, especially when we're building fitness. We always want to be slowly pushing ourselves and stopping and starting, and like 2 months hiatus, then you're back to square one again. So you always want to make sure you've got that next goal in sight. Um, yeah, so some uh practical tips would be simply in order to help you keep going with your goals, make sure you've got realistic, achievable, but also goals that will intimidate you a little bit. Um, are to write down your goals and revisit them often. So like after this call or during this call, like literally write down more of your longer term goals and try to make them a little bit more, put as much detail as you can into them. Like maybe how much muscle do you want to put on your body? Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 6 kilograms more of muscle? And probably even more than that long term. I like, what time do you want to get for your full marathon? Um, how many days do you want to be running per week? What would be your dream goal where you could be like, yeah, I run 4 days a week for an hour each time and it's effortless. Like what do you envisage your dream sort of fitness to look like? And get really specific with it, write it down, and then literally look at what you've written down often. Remind yourself that's what's going to keep the fire in your belly. That's what's going to keep you motivated. And again, if you ever feel like a little bit overwhelmed, simply breaking down those goals into smaller steps. And obviously, I do that in the programming itself anyway. But yeah, to always never feel like it's useful to also be like when you're writing down your goals to be like, okay, I want to get here, for example, in 2 years' time to be able to do a marathon, for example. And so that means I do that a half marathon by this date, and that I'm gonna just up my sessions maybe by 1 or 2 training sessions a week for the next month after that, whatever it is. Like put down specific steps to be like, okay, this isn't as overwhelming, I can do this, I've got X amount of days to do it in. So like doing that and just envisaging what you need to do to get to your ultimate goals will make things way less overwhelming and like and like really keep the motivation going for you. And then just visualizing your goals every day as a result. So just literally just having that mental image of what you want to get out of your life is going to keep you on track. So this is our last slide, and this is mental barriers. So we've gone over like obviously what motivates us, what keeps us pushing forwards, and how to pick goals that really are going to get us to where we, to keep us excited and keep us loving our journey, our fitness journey. But we do have like barriers, usually that come mentally from, internally from us, that kind of stop us, like roadblocks stopping us from reaching our goals. So, one of them, in fact, do you have any mental barriers, Swan, that like, do you feel like any crop up with you that stop you sometimes from, I know you said about maybe lack of confidence in the weight section, but what about, for example, is there any times where you just cannot get to the gym and you just give up, and then at the end of the day you think, oh God, was there a really good reason for that, or did I just talk myself out of it?
yeah. I've definitely had that. That's for sure, for sure. Um, like procrastinating it or just putting it off, like, oh, I'll do it a bit later. I'll do it a bit later, and then
Yeah,
before I know it, either I'm too tired, uh, and it's like, or yeah, I just left it too late.
yeah, okay.
Um,
And why do you think, what is it, the procrastinating side of it, is that just because you're overthinking it, or maybe you're tired, or where do you think that comes from?
um, hmm. I think sometimes what I'll do is I'll say I'm too busy, so I
Yeah,
got other stuff I need to do. Um, And realistically, if I look back on the day, there's been a few times when I said I've been busy, but I look back at the day and there's been times where it's like, really, I was like, I spent an hour just, I don't know, scrolling on the internet or whatever.
Yeah.
And I could have gone to the gym or something, at least like a workout in some form. Um,
That's a
yeah.
super common one. That's like, and I get that as well. I get, and it annoys me so much when I'm like, you end up looking back on your day and thinking, I skipped a workout and I actually really wanted to do it. And
Mm.
oh wait, maybe like 1.5 hours of the day were not really the best use of my time, and that's why I've run out of time. Um, and yeah, so procrastination, it's a huge one that stops people from working out. There is a couple of strategies that I've used in the past and are really helpful if you sometimes do procrastinate, like we all do. So um one of those things is, for example, using time management techniques. Have you heard of the Pomodoro technique?
I have, yeah, I have heard of it. Yeah.
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 So have you used it before?
Yeah, I've used it a bit, not with like gym stuff. I've used it for like studying
Yeah.
or like sort of more that sort of academics kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you find it? Did it
yeah,
work?
I think if I got it right, it's like you do about 20 minutes, 15 or
Yeah.
20 minutes of something, whatever that is, and then you have a 5 minute break,
Yeah.
and then you go back to it. So it's like little 20-minute sections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you feel like it helped you stay more focused.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it's 25 minutes of just trying to stay focused on a task and then 5 minute break and then going again. And I do this now when I'm behind a laptop for hours every day. And I do find that actually I'm so much more productive with my time just by giving my brain that slight rest, because I slow down as we all do. It's too hard to stay focused for long periods of time, especially I know you've got a really your job is different, Juan. I mean, you've got a few different jobs, but my job, for example, is very much behind a laptop for hours every single day. It's not as active as you might think. So like um I have to take little 5 minute breaks because our brain just naturally wants to slow down and we lose focus. As the day progresses in general, we get more tired, more mentally fatigued as the day goes on. So if you leave your workout till last thing in the day, because you're working for a long amount of time, you're distracting yourself, whatever it is, you're getting tasks done, but they're taking ages. Then and then by the time you do your workout, it's so late in the day that you're just too exhausted to do it, or you don't have enough time to do it. Then definitely try the Pomodoro effect is one way that we can try and make things our tasks more efficient in the day so that we're doing our workout earlier on. Or just do your workout first thing in the day. So that would be probably the best thing for you, Juan, because I know that you have quite an active job. It's not like you're stuck behind a laptop. So for you, the Pomodoro technique wouldn't really work. But definitely like that would be a great way of getting around it. Like literally going to the gym first thing in the morning. Have you done that? Have you been doing
I
that?
have done it a few times. I have done it a few times. Especially I've done it like I've only done it like once where I went and did it before I started work. So
Yeah,
like I start at 9:30 when I'm on shift. So those days it is possible. And I've
yeah,
only done it once and I felt great after doing it. So I
yeah, there
should
we
do it
go.
more.
Yeah,
The other thing that I've done, and I did it today actually, because I knew I need to get to the gym. I'll do it like I'll finish my shift in work, which is 10 o'clock, I finish. And then instead of going heading straight home, I went to the gym first.
yeah,
I actually did that before I even got home.
that's
Because I
great.
knew in the past what I've done is like I'll go home and I'll get kind of comfortable. And then before long, it's like I've not really done it. And it was
Yeah,
great to have it had it done by, before midday basically. I was kind of oops, sorry.
yeah.
By like 11:30, I think I had it all done. So
Yeah, that's see, there we go. Like if you know yourself and you're like, you know that you just got to get it done before you get home, before you go into relax mode. Because I think sometimes our environments have a huge impact on us as well. And as soon as we come home after a shift, if we're used to, oh, after a shift, that's when we mentally shut off. That's when we physically can relax. It's
mm,
really hard to get out of that. So breaking the pattern somehow by going to the gym first thing in the morning or going straight after work, whatever it is going to help a lot. So yeah, just knowing yourself and working around those when you know you're going to be weakest mentally
mm,
um is yeah, that's a great idea. Um yeah, so another barrier, we're nearly there, two more barriers just to chat about, and then that is us for the evening. But I just wanted to quickly touch upon fear of failure. Do you feel like you ever get, I know, for example, I get a fear of failure sometimes, and definitely with the Ironman training coming up. Um, and because of that, I think sometimes I focus too much on, for example, skipping a session here or there, and sometimes I can beat myself up about it. And that actually in itself leads me to putting my head in the sand and skipping more sessions when I could be instead learning from why I skipped that session, learning that, okay, maybe I needed to fuel more because I was too tired to do that session or whatever it is. Instead of learning from it and embracing the failure, I dig my head in the sand more because I have such a fear of failure sometimes. Uh, I don't know if that's something that ever affects you, Juan.
Um, I think it's yeah, it has affected me. Maybe not as much with fitness, but just in other areas of
Yeah,
my life.
yeah.
Um, but I think um, yeah, maybe it's like believing in I can't achieve this thing. Yeah,
Okay.
like
Is that happened like recently with your fitness journey at all, or are you okay? You feel pretty confident with your training and that side of it?
um, I think I feel pretty. Yeah, I think I've been all right. I think I feel pretty confident.
Good. Okay.
Um, yeah.
Okay. Amazing. Because yeah, some people can definitely be affected by that, maybe not even consciously, but subconsciously. And it's about flipping it, I guess, upside down. And so, I mean, I know you said maybe in other areas of your life you feel that. So
Mm,
it's the case of like it's so easier, so much easier said than done, but to
yeah.
just embrace failure. And again, as we said at the start, just like to take the positives from it and learn from it. It's failure is not inherently a bad thing. And if we can start to really rewrite how we view failure in our brain, it's going to help us in every single area of our life so much more. And then perfectionism is the last one. So overcoming um mental barriers, like perfectionism is one of those mental barriers that people can really get stuck down in. So that's when we think we have to be perfect all the time and there's no room for error. And as soon as we overeat or on a certain day, then for example, then we dig ourselves into a hole and we start to hate on ourselves almost. And that's when we might end up just going into effort mode, where basically we're just gonna overeat then and we're gonna maybe binge or we're gonna just be like, oh, we may as well give up, just put the towel in. You would start missing days of training, all the rest of it. So it could be this horrible knock-on effect. And it's due to trying to be too perfect, you end up being the opposite. So it's about like also just being kind to yourself when you do miss a session. It is not the end of the world. When you do overeat, it is not the end of the world. So some strategies to overcome this is to again set more realistic expectations for yourself that you're not a robot, you are a human, and mistakes are part and parcel of your fitness journey, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as overall you are consistent more often than you are not, you're going to be grand. Um, and to focus on progress, not perfection. If that is the anything that I want you to take away from this whole slide, this whole talk, and I'll just finish on this. It is literally just to always focus on your progress. not perfection. So messy progress is the only way that we can ever go forwards, and to always just never beat yourself up for what you do wrong and focus on what you can learn from it and the positives from whenever you do make mistakes. Did you have any other questions, Juan, at all?
No, I just want to say the perfectionism. I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah,
My fitness journey. Yeah.
really. So do you feel like you want to be, you always want to be doing everything right and you kind of beat yourself up if you're not, sort of thing?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Has to be like perfect. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
common.
yeah. Like if there's days where I don't feel like I've achieved like my eating goals, diet
Yeah,
goals, something, you know.
yeah.
And
And
there'll be, yeah, like as you mentioned the example when you were just talking before, like if I eat some unhealthy food, or like junk food, and then it's like, okay, just that's it now, rest of the day.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you're self-sabotaging yourself.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
one
yeah,
mistake, and then, and not even necessarily a mistake, we're allowed to indulge, now and again, but then then it becomes there's a line, isn't there, between a one-off indulgence and
yeah,
then being like, oh, okay, I've had that indulgence, and I shouldn't have had it, and not allowing yourself these, in quotation mark, mistakes or one-off indulgences, and instead, not being kind to yourself about it and being like accepting the fact that you are human and you're not a robot. And that results to, I'm going to keep doing this now because I'm almost self-sabotaging myself. I'm like, yeah, what's the point now? I may as well just dig myself a hole today. And then you start over maybe indulging or skipping training sessions almost as a way to for short-term comfort, even
mm,
though in the long term it's just going to give you, you're hurting yourself almost. So yeah, I can relate to that as well because I've been there, I've done that. And now and again it still crops up on me where I'll have an effort mode few hours or a day. And then even then though, remember, you need to always zoom out and look at the bigger picture of, okay, you had an effort mode for the day maybe, right? Or even for the weekend. Then that in itself you've got to zoom out from and be like, you know what, 2 days out of 2 months or whatever it is of overall being pretty consistent, it's fine. Let it go. You have to learn how to let it go so that you can hop back on the bandwagon as soon as possible and be fine again. And that all comes down to that positive self-talk that you have of allowing yourself those mistakes, allowing yourself to let it go. And the quicker you can do that, the easier it will be for you to get back on the bandwagon. Uh, yeah,
yeah.
perfect. Did you want to chat about anything else, Juan, in general, or?
I think I'm all right. No, I'm all
Perfect.
good. Yeah, that's
Okay,
been
amazing.
useful. Yeah, good to have these little tips and stuff.
Yeah, and I think it's good to like, even though I'm sure you probably know a lot of this already, I think sometimes it's just good to be able to like chat through, for example, like effort mode. It's like sometimes we don't vocalize it enough that
Yeah,
everyone goes through it. And then because of that, you think, oh, you must be doing things worse than other people. And that makes it worse. That makes the effort mode worse, and the self-sabotaging even worse, and the hating on yourself even worse. And actually, if you can forgive yourself, right from the get-go, it wouldn't be that bad in the first place because you'd realize everyone's like it and you don't need to be perfect. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Juan. Thanks for
no
letting
worries.
me harp on.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll chat to you soon.
All right. Cheers. Bye.
Bye. Bye bye.